Archives of Prasar Bharati presents the timeless treasure of golden era.
Kerala, the unique South Indian state. Rich in tradition, arts and culture. An astonishing creativity. Is also proud of its priceless icon now, in this legendary cartoonist of its origin, Abu Abraham.
Well, I would say cartooning because it comes to me more naturally, spontaneously. I've been drawing from the age of 3, and so that's how it is that I have always considered drawing as more natural. Writing, of course, takes much more conscious effort. A lot more time is spent and a lot of reading and thinking.
But then he had left Kerala at his 20, choosing to work as a journalist.
Well, as a job, my first job in a newspaper was as a reporter when I was in Bombay. So I continued with that and doing cartoons in my spare time. Then gradually I moved to cartooning as a full-time occupation when I joined the Shankas Weekly. That's how it happened.
The path to wit and humor is not so green as it seems to be. It is strewn with a lot of pitfalls. Someone even went to the extent of naming cartooning as the ungentlemanly art.
In all satire, there is an element of cruelty, but that doesn't mean that satirists and cartoonists are ungentlemanly. In fact, they are great moralists. By depicting the ugly things in society or in politics, they are pointing at what is good and what is proper and what is true. There is a popular idea, of course, that cartooning is a negative art, but this is not true. It only seems negative on the surface, but beneath a good cartoon, there is very positive thinking. Not in my way personally, but in the beginning of the emergency, there was censorship. Then I stopped drawing for a couple of months. Afterwards, the censorship was lifted, at least pre-censorship was lifted. Journalists and cartoonists were asked to follow the guidelines. Guidelines were very reasonable, no problem about that. So I continued to work as though nothing had happened, and that Good cartoon must have good drawing as well as good idea. Um, it's very difficult to say which is more important. Both are important, and you can have a good idea and you can spoil it by a bad drawing. So I would give equal importance to both the idea and the drawing.
Abu firmly believes that cartoonists have to think with a certain amount of passion and have to respond and react to world and local events, whether it is poverty or corruption or human relations. This passion in Abu inspired him to create an animated cartoon film, No Arcs, in 1970 itself, with the financial aid from the British Film Institute Production Board.
This is the story of Noah. Noah was a just and good man. Noah walked with God. One day God said to Noah, "Make thee an ark. It's going to rain for 40 days, and I don't want you to die in the flood because you are a good man." So Noah made an ark. He then brought his family, his cattle, his dogs, his chickens, and his doves. Noah just couldn't wait for the rains to start. Soon the sky began to get dark. Then it started to rain, and to rain, and to rain. Noah and his family waited inside the ark, keeping themselves amused.
Abu had directed this animated cartoon film besides offering script and his graphic support for the animation. No Arcs, directed by Abu, was selected as an outstanding film of the year for the presentation at the London Film Festival 1970. Abu's flair for world travel reached him to different parts of the globe, including Russia, Cuba, Vietnam, and several European nations besides the United Kingdom. His 13-year-long stint in England from 1956 saw him with such reputed publications as The Observer, The Guardian, The Tribune, that shaped him as an international celebrity. Abu was a major in the American Army during the Vietnam War. He must be the only major in the US Army in kurta pajamas. Outside Saigon, Abu was thrilled to find joyful country boys and harvesting peasant girls who were unmindful of US bombing that was on at a distance. Verdict on Vietnam War is an edited collection by Abu of the cartoons all over the world on Vietnam War.
If there is a general election tomorrow, which general will you vote for? No, I don't want to negotiate. That makes it unanimous. Our hearts go out to him.
On Western cartoonists vis-a-vis the Indian cartoonists, Abu has an independent view.
Well, in the Western world, they have some really outstanding cartoonists in America and France, Germany, not so many in England now. But here, very variable. There are very good cartoonists and there are some who are indifferent or poor. But I think we'll catch up sometime. But not many cartoonists are going in for full-time cartooning. You know, there are hundreds of cartoonists in Kerala who do it all in their spare time. But during the day they work with the LIC or as teachers or doctors maybe, and clerks. But the profession hasn't produced more than a handful of serious cartoonists. You know, others do it as a kind of hobby. That's the problem. But if the papers pay better, then they can leave their government jobs and devote themselves full time to cartooning.
Abu Abraham was born in Tiruvalla, Kerala on 11th of June 1924. He studied mathematics, English and French at Kerala University and obtained a BSc degree in 1945. As a top seed tennis player, he represented his university team. Abu had left Kerala and had led a legendary life, first as a journalist, but later on prominently as a successful cartoonist of international standard. Abu Abraham had two issues out of his first marriage, both of them daughters. Ms. Aisha Abraham, his eldest daughter, is happily settled now in Bangalore. Abu Abraham was a member of the upper house of Indian Parliament for 6 years, from 1972 to 1978. Cartoonist Abu recalls some of his memories of those days as a Rajya Sabha member.
Well, of course, I was a nominated member and I was not attached to any party. No party discipline could apply to me. So I was free to continue with my professional duties along with my parliamentary work. Being a member of parliament gives you a lot of privileges, a lot of advantage, such as I traveled widely in India. I got to know the country in those 6 years more than I would have in 15 years as a journalist or cartoonist. Because an MP has free travel and a lot of advantages, you know, so many things are laid out for you. I took a lot of interest in science, so I visited a lot of scientific establishments, and the ministry could arrange it all. So in a short time, I learned more about agricultural research and nuclear energy and all kinds of things.
Abu Abraham also stored for posterity some very precious observations of his life in some of his exclusive drawings and cartoons. The Bangladesh War, a war fought on the racist element. The 10 million refugees that massacre had left. And the misery he saw in person at Tripura. All these had provoked the flaring cartoonist in Abu fire a few of the best cartoons he could ever produce. A friendly visit to Sri Lanka had attracted him to Anuradhapura, on which his brush had clicked a lively sketch. Nostalgia brought Abu Abraham back to Trivandrum nearly 5 decades after he had left his home state. Saranam, one of the most attractive bungalows in Trivandrum, designed by the celebrated Laurie Baker, is the seat of peace, tranquility, comfort and settlement, now of Abus and their enviable pets, Masha, Pushkin, and their gang of 4. Abu feels there is no room for impartiality in cartoons. He was never impartial himself. He had always expressed a point of view. He has never bothered whether that had branded him as a leftist in his ideologies. Election season always offers a good amount of humor and a big field day for all the cartoonists. His pre-election cartoons are a touch of class. But over a period of time, didn't we find some cartoonists, including Abu, repeating their ideas again and again?
There is always this problem that the longer you draw, the more likely you are to run out of ideas. Then you will begin to repeat yourself without even often knowing that you are repeating yourself. And so the remedy for that is simply that cartoonists should draw less in a week. Or the usual pattern here is that you are supposed to draw one big cartoon and one small cartoon. It all adds up to a lot of output, but the quality deteriorates. Nobody in the Western press draws even a daily cartoon. In fact, I know cases where people are discouraged from drawing more than 3 or 4 cartoons in a week in a daily newspaper. And David Lowe, the famous cartoonist in London, told me never draw more than 3 a week, He never did throughout his life. So he kept up a very high standard, both in the quality of drawing and his ideas and so on. Here, our proprietors think that a cartoon is something, what is called a smile with your morning cup of tea. It is just an aid to improving circulation. I don't think many of them take cartoons seriously in the sense of a political cartoon being a commentary on the current events. They think it's all very amusing, and so it's good for our circulation.
As if to make the Western world swallow their hackneyed obsession, Abu has tried to unveil the Indian sense of humor and has compiled a volume of Indian cartoons.
We have a loan scheme. I assure you it is equally good. Why don't you try that instead? He says, sir, he's obtained a stay order. The manager will see you in a moment, madam. So will you be so kind as to wait in our safety vault? You are confused. I am not. No, sir. an honest official will not be suitable. This is a very important post. What are you going to be when you grow up? Illiterate or unemployed? Are we supposed to oppose corruption or amend it?
Back home, Abu enjoys drawing a lot on the life around him in Kerala, like the peasant women of Tiruvalla and the holiday life on Kovalam beach. Even at this age of 75, Abu wields an occasional racket to keep fit and takes interest in watching live telecast of a few seasonal tournaments around the world. This cheerful, gracious young lady, who is more than a mere housewife for Abu, she feels it a real fun to share life with cartoonist Abu.
Well, it's great fun. I think it's more fun than if I was married to a businessman or something. And as for his stature, I don't think too much about it. He's good to live with because he spends a lot of the time reading the papers and not bothering me. And well, he's just a nice person, whether he's a cartoonist or whatever it is. It's good. Sometimes I wish he would take some of that load off me, but I know if I left it to him, everything would get mixed up and it would all go wrong. So I just carry on. And he actually hasn't a clue about any of these things. As you can see, we sit around and have a drink and chat and read the papers, read books, listen to music. That's our... We go to the beach, swim, we travel. Abu's he likes showing me places that he's already seen and I haven't. Our free time is full. We don't go to much, I mean to sort of films, or we don't... Well, I was watching more and more television these days. I'm a bit fed up with it. We look after our pets, and what else do we do in our free time? Together, that is.